in our neck of the woods. So that's where really Silver Companions was initially born.
Welcome to Taking Care of Mom and Dad. Today we have Brian Mitchell coming from Georgia, and your company is Silver Companions.
That's right.
I was wondering if you could tell us how you got into this business.
Well over a decade ago, um, the reason we really started Silver Companions because we had my wife's grandmother lived in Sun City Center, Florida. Us by default were the closest family members because we're here in Georgia. We're just one state away. The rest of her family was in New York and Texas. So kind of by default, anyway, there was little Leslie and big Leslie, so they got along really well. So it became like an every other weekend, kind of go down there, hang out with grandmother, make sure she's keeping on track with stuff, and helping clean out the refrigerator, maybe get her out, keep her engaged, because driving was becoming an issue too. We started hearing stories about people going the wrong way. Well, we know who was going the wrong way. It wasn't other people going the wrong way. So we started hearing those things. It became an every week end type of thing where there were, many times I would go and Leslie would go too. And, so long story short, we thought that maybe we could do something like we're doing now in a little bit less scale in Georgia. We really intended when we first started out, we really wanted to be a concierge service just to help people with errands and prescriptions and get them to and from the doctor and things like that. So that would have really helped her grandmother just to have somebody come and spend time 2-3 days a week, kind of checking in on her, encourage her to get out. But if she's not feeling up to getting out, maybe playing some games, cards, things like that, just even simply just being in each other's company. But so ultimately she had a maid. The maid was doing what she could to help her kind of keep her moving, try to coordinate with us, and we're like, well, this is really not working out very well. Long story short, she ended up falling another fall, ended up in a long-term care facility, got an infection, downward spiral, that type of thing. So that's kind of where we were when this happened. This is where we said, well, why can't we do something like this in Georgia with some of the contacts that we have and help people in our neck of the woods. So that's where really Silver Companions was initially born. So but we did look into buying a couple of different franchises when we first started too. But we chose to start instead on our own, start off on get licensed. We're licensed by the Department of Community Health right here in the state of Georgia. We're not a franchise, but we want to provide a solution to those needing help. A lot of people don't know where to turn. So that's very, very important to me to actually be that solution to people, and connecting the dots. How do all these things work together? That's kind of what our initial story is. And I shared, my folks just moved to be very close to my wife and I right here in Woodstock, Georgia. They're maybe like 5 minutes away. So we were blessed to be able to see them. They sold a house with all these stairs not too long ago, and now. So they are super close to my wife and I. We're super excited about that. My mom just came to the office, and my dad just came yesterday to kind of help a little bit. So
Oh, that's wonderful.
yes, it is. So we want to help them contribute when they are contributing, and it makes them feel better, and it helps us too. So it's a win-win-win.
Did you open it 15 years ago or?
About a little less than that, maybe 12, something 12 or
Yeah, because there was a lot that companionship was very new in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
So they
Yeah,
didn't.
yeah, and so we're licensed for personal care and companion
Yeah.
sitting. So okay, so yeah, thanks for asking about.
And the other thing I think is nice is that you've been through it and you're going through it. So you really know how to connect with your clients
We
on that.
try. Thank you. Yes.
If you could walk us through some of the services that you provide your clients.
So right now, we can't help everybody, right? That is something we all want to. We all servants' hearts. That's why we're in this business. It has to be here, right? But yeah, I mean, what we are able to do, we are able to serve more people now than we were ever able to serve before. by kind of working on what we've been working towards for quite a while. Not only helping with the meals and light housekeeping, laundry, linen, get to and from appointments, help with bathing and grooming, and we can rattle off the IADLs and the ADLs
Right.
and things like that. But to actually be a solution to people instead of only making it about home care, like how all these things connect. I have a lot of people ask me, "Are you guys like hospice?" Well, yeah, actually, we have a lot of clients on hospice. So it doesn't mean that they don't need home care at the time. Or they say, well, home health's coming, 3 days a week. So they probably don't need help. But as a matter of fact, on the contrary, if you have home health coming, what's half of physical therapy, right? Is doing the home exercises when the therapist is not there, right? Actually, where things kind of, I know that because we started from scratch, we want to try to, I think we spend a lot of time educating, really.
Yes.
We educate a lot of people on the phone, actually trying to provide an overall solution. And by the way, we are the best of the best, and we decided not to buy a franchise. That's what we wanted to start from scratch. And the reason that we've built what we've been able to build, we have a really good reputation. But because we started it, as you mentioned, ourselves, we were both care providers, and we still are care providers. We didn't just buy a franchise because the boomers, and it's a growing industry and whatnot. There's a lot more to it than that, isn't there?
Yeah. And I think earlier you brought out a good point that some families don't understand that you can have multiple services in your house. I
Mm-hmm.
think they tend to be like, oh no, hospice is coming in,
Mm-hmm.
or like you mentioned, physical therapy, whereas you all work together. It's not um, as a packet, you know.
Yep.
Like you mentioned, if physical therapy comes in, then UA can help them during the week do their goals towards that, whatever exercises or whatever they're supposed to
Mm-hmm.
do.
That's right.
So,
They all work together. We all work together to try to for the same goal, really. Try to keep you out of the hospital, keep you
mm,
healthy, keep you moving around. Um, medication reminders, even simple things like that. People start to forget to take their medications. Or what? It doesn't have to be called exercise, right? Just go outside, move around a little bit.
mhm.
Even making it something as simple as a meal. You can gamify almost anything, even when it comes to folding laundry, doing linens. We're contributing back to the household. We're helping contribute to keep the household moving forward. That could even, like, if we're making a meal, it doesn't have to be a massive meal. It could be, hey, I'm making sandwiches. Why don't you put the lettuce and the tomato and the onions on it or something?
Yeah,
This way we're still being productive. We're still helping out, you know?
yeah, yeah, good point. Noticed on your site, you
Mhm.
mentioned that your caregivers have training and online training. Can you go through a
Yes.
little bit of that?
We're blessed to be able to offer well over 300 hours worth of training modules. Okay, nationally accredited, and to know training. You can people do that now. Of course, these are appendages, right? These cell phones, so they can do it on their cell phone or their computer. They're not able to fast forward past it, and then they get tested at the end. So they actually have to pay attention, and they have to get like 80% or more to be able to pass that module. So, for example, what we just did this week, Monday, we have a client we've been working with for a little while. They didn't have an actual diagnosis of Lewy body dementia. Now he does. So the wife has been doing some research. We were able to send her like 3 training modules on Lewy body because coming from a perspective of a care provider instead of just going Dr. Google, right? Which
Yeah.
is can be a double-edged sword. Um, so we're able to offer that to families too. So not only care providers, right? Because yes, you get the mandatory 8 hours and things like that, but we want people to have actually a learning path too, so they can actually become like a care lead. Well, so we do that now. So we go and we visit clients' homes. I still love doing the living room visits, by the way. That's one thing that I miss. I'm not a care provider anymore. So I get to do most of those. So it's super cool that I do get to meet families initially to try to map out a plan and how do we actually provide a solution to what it is that they're having a problem with, you know. So but yeah, so as far as training goes, yeah, we do use nationally accredited program where we are able to do that, and we can offer that not only care providers, but families. So, and they can come in here and do it too. We have a training center right here. We have which her name's Pat. So we have a mannequin here, so we can actually observe, because
Okay.
we are back to hiring mainly CNAs again, but there are some care providers who have experience and things like that. So we want, hey, tell us how good you are is one thing. Why don't you show us?
Yes.
Show us how you provide incontinence care. Show us how you're going to transfer your client, right? Show us these things. So proof's in the pudding right here. So we're
Right.
able to do that too. So we have a little training center right here on the other side of our office that we're blessed to be able to offer to not only care providers, but families too.
Came through some of your testimonials, which are very, very nice. I was wondering if there's any stories or anything that really stood out to you that represents what you and your wife and your company is about.
Oh, I've got lots of funny stories. I don't even know where to start. One that really stands out to me is a gentleman I used to work with. Um, our job was to get there at 9 o'clock because in the morning he wanted to be on the go. He was pretty much waiting, ready to go. He couldn't drive anymore, right? So we would go somewhere like the recreation center so he could start his exercise for the day. We go to Kroger and get a free cookie. The ladies would always put the flowers on his shirt when they saw him. He's used to just cause levity to people's lives. So most of the time we're driving down the road, I would pray that we wouldn't stop at a light, because guess what happens when we stopped at a stoplight? He'd roll his window down and he'd say, "Hey, roll your window down to the car next to you," right?
Yeah.
Well, it's maybe not the safest thing this day and age, but what the heck? That's what he wanted to do, and he just really wanted to make people laugh.
Yeah.
So they would roll their window down, and he'd just say something like, "Are you going straight ahead?" Or "Is it going to rain today?" Or something, just to he would ask all sorts of crazy questions. So so that was part of the day, and then we go maybe have lunch, meet, whether it's out or go back to his apartment and have lunch, or we'd play rummy cube, things like that. But we just have a lot of fun, and to make people laugh. He would have
Yeah.
all sorts of funny comments to people. Yeah, we had those are very, very good times.
And that's what I appreciate about home care is that that's what I appreciate about home care is that you're able to, instead of someone feeling like they're isolated, especially if they don't have a vehicle and then they're stuck at home, maybe the family lives far away, and instead of feeling that isolation, you're able to have them connect to the world and bring them out and do what they're used to or used to do,
Yeah, that was important to the family. Hey, Dad, you can't drive anymore, but we want you to keep doing what you were doing. So we have somebody that can kind of take you around. In fact, I was called the driver for many years because he didn't, but that's okay. It was that's what that's what the main role was especially at the beginning.
Yeah.
Kind of keep them in check, watchful supervision, oversight, try to keep them from falling, reminding them to drink water and take medications and things like that. So but yes, that's exactly where we can fill in the gap for people.
What is the basically philosophy or mission behind your company for your families and caregivers?
It does make us different, and I know it is, because not only are we not a franchise, and Leslie and I started Sober Companions from scratch, and we were care providers ourselves, but we're here to serve by providing solutions as we know what it takes, which includes being consistent from the beginning and not compromising quality over quantity. Okay. We probably communicate a lot more than others, especially at the beginning, right before we start a job, as the job's going, because you want to be consistent at the beginning. It's so important to start a job off with consistency on all ends. It's better for us as an agency. It's better for the care provider. It's better for the family. It's better for the care recipient, client, whatever you want to call them. It's just better the whole way around. So, one of the things that we also do, as you know, to help people stay safely in their home, we're offering professional services by a trained care provider and providing consistency, but also ongoing checking in. It's like we don't just throw someone in there. I just visited a client yesterday. We've been there for a couple of days. Yes, we have to have an RN on staff, right? She lives in downtown Woodstock, by the way. She does the care plans and the assessments and changing condition and supervisory visits and all that stuff. But they really want to see a manager from the office, somebody that they've been talking to, whether it's somebody, one of our management staff, or maybe a care lead, kind of check in on things, see how they're going. Visit, hey, pull up your, we use an app that's how they clock in, clock out, pull that up. Not only about looking at the care plan and things like that, but making sure everybody's comfortable. So we do go the extra mile to be able to do that. So,
and that's good that you're able to walk them through that it's not just about the home care, but that you're able to also see the other solutions. If they're not able to do this, that you're able to at least point them in the right direction of what is going to benefit their
and when you do that, you want to make sure you're pointing people in the direction of somebody who's actually going to do what they say they're going to do, instead of overcommitting, saying they can do it, and then here they are in a tough spot. They still haven't gotten the help that they needed, and that happens all the time right now too. So let's try to avoid
sad,
that.
but true.
Sure. So it's people who we trust is who we will refer.
Well, thank you for that introductory and letting us know a little bit about Silver Companions.